Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to cover any news today, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you along doing my chores, and I'm going to show you where I'm going to go today. It should be a pretty good time. It'll give some of those of you that are new see what Fairbanks looks like just a little bit. And first we're going to have breakfast though. But before first, I wanted to show you all what I mean about what I use my electric heater for in the house and what temperature it keeps it and all. And then I'll just talk to you about the logic behind it. So check this out. This is just one of those cheapo heaters that comes with like an entertainment center. And it goes all the way up to like 1500 watts. But it's got a few settings. Right now it's set on medium setting. And at medium setting it pulls approximately 700 watts or so. Not that much. But it does help to keep the house, warm enough to where we're not cold. And and check this out. For those of you that were asking what I bought when I was at the coin shop, when I dollar cost averaged in, this is it right here. I just got these 10 little 1 ounce silver bars, buffaloes, and these are pretty cool. And look at this, somebody here is visiting. Look at this. Where are you going? Lucy. This is Lucy, for those of you that don't know. This is the cat that was rescued by my wife, and I guess now she's part of the AP community, or AP household. Oh, and check this out. If you haven't watched this series, for adults only, Justified, man, it's really, really good. But anyways, let me show you my fuel oil heater, my Toyo. And this here is what we call Toyos in Alaska. And the name is Toyo Tomi. It's Laser 730. That's just the model name. And as you can see here, you can see that the inside temperature of the house is 64 degrees. And I have it set to where if the temperature inside the house drops below 62, it'll turn on automatically. But in addition to the small heater that I showed you here before, the electric heater, I also have a small one here that's running. So this one's probably running around 600 watts. So altogether, I've got about 1300 or so watts running off of 2 different breakers, and it's keeping our home at 64 degrees, which, ladies and gentlemen, for us, that's plenty. About 64, 63 is where we like it. And why am I doing this? The reason I'm doing it is because my Toyo heater takes fuel oil, and I would rather pay the little bit more that it costs to run electricity for as long as I can, so that I don't actually use up the physical fuel oil, right? Because I think that if there is a shortage of fuel oil, distillates, whatever it is, that we'll still have electricity. So I would rather just continue to run electricity as much as I can for my heat, and pay that little extra to have that security that if we do lose electricity, that we'll have our fuel oil stock left, and we'll be able to heat our winter with no problem, right? Heat our homes throughout the winter with no problem, without us having to wonder if we're going to be able to get fuel oil, in the near future. Anything can happen. It has nothing to do with this diesel shortage or anything like that. I just think it's a good idea to use the resources that you can use now that's available. That way, if it becomes unavailable, you have that backup to go to. So this is working out really well. Now, what I do is, whenever we leave the house, whenever there's no one in the house because we've left to go somewhere or do something, we turn off our electric heaters. We only keep our electric heaters on when we're in the house. And for those of you that are wondering what this is a little remote thermometer that records the temperature under my house where my water is. So right now, where I keep my water cisterns under the house, it's almost 53 degrees Fahrenheit. And under the house, we also have a Toyo system that is a smaller one, right? It's I think they call it the Fuel Miser 30. It's a Toyo Tomi like this one, but it's about half the size. It does a great job at keeping the area warm enough to where nothing will freeze. And the last thing I'll show you is this. This here is that Duracell. This is like the second solar generator I've ever purchased, and I believe that they don't make them anymore. And what I use this for is I keep it right next to my Toyo, and I have the Toyo right here plugged into it. So this is plugged into the solar generator, and the solar generator is plugged into the wall. It's got UPS, uninterrupted power supply. So should at any time we lose electricity, our Toyo will revert to battery power immediately. All right, it doesn't even skip a beat. It won't turn off or anything like that. And it's nice to have this one because it wasn't very expensive. Like I said, I believe it was like the second solar generator I ever purchased. I purchased it from Costco if I remember correctly, when they had it on sale. And I believe they don't make this model anymore. But this is a very nice little model. It only has like, I believe it's like 600 or so watt hours. But this Toyo stove right here, or this Toyo heater, it doesn't really use that much watts. It only uses about 360 watts or so during startup, and that lasts probably about 5 minutes, and then it reverts to only using about 50 or 60 watts, pretty much just to keep the oil pump or the fuel pump running and the fan running in the back. So this thing's been a really good solar generator. Another thing that I really like about this one, I reviewed this one a while back, is that you can add external batteries to this. But unfortunately, whenever a company gets something right, like this, I believe this is a great solar generator for a great price. It doesn't have a lot of capacity as far as storage, but you can add external batteries to it to get your capacity up, your storage capacity up on electricity. So hey, let's go ahead and let's make a little bit of breakfast before we head out for the day. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this is not a promotional video for nutrient survival. You all know that I love this stuff. And by the way, like I said, it's not a promotional video, but they do have a sale going on. So if you're in the market for freeze-dried food, take a look at the link below because it's 15% off anything in the store. But anyways, I just want to show you really quick how it is that I make a quick nutrient survival breakfast, and it's really awesome. So I'm going to make 2 servings of eggs, and each serving of eggs needs 1/3 of a cup of water. However, I always add 1/3 of a cup of water plus about half of that, and then the rest in milk, right? Milk or half and half. And then all you do is you put, I've already got a scoop in here that's dedicated to my eggs. I just put it in here. And then I go ahead and I put it in the blender. Then I just go ahead and set it up like this and put it to the side so that anything that's on the blade will trickle down, you know, all of the liquid. That way it doesn't make a mess later on. And what I'm going to have today is I'm going to have some home-style scramble. This is really my favorite. So whenever I cook them with eggs, I do it a little bit different. For 1 cup is a serving of home-style scramble. And as you can see, I've already been into this several times. 1 cup is a serving. You need a half a cup of water. So what I do is this. I get my water really hot on a saucepan, and I'll even try to get it up to almost a boil. And then I just add my 1 cup in here. And then I mix everything in. And I get it really, really hot. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, I don't mind if some little parts come out like a little crunchy, like some of the potatoes, because I really don't let this set that long to rehydrate. I kind of like the texture of getting a little crunch now and then. But what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put it in here like this. I let it do its magic here for a few minutes, and then I'm going to get some of this ghee that I have here. Check this out. I think this is my last jar of ghee that I processed in May of 2013. It says butter here, but it's ghee. I just really didn't know what to name it at the time. I seen a video, but I forgot the name, so I just put butter. But this is ghee, ladies and gentlemen, and it is 9 years old. Actually, it's about 9.5 years old. So once it starts getting nice and hot like that, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and just flip them around a little bit. I'm going to push them off to the edge because I know that most of my heat is in the middle. And something that I do before I put my spoon in there is I go ahead and I put it in the heat for 2 reasons. One, whenever you get into your ghee, you want to make sure that whatever utensil you're putting in there is sterilized. And also, it makes it easier for the ghee to come right off. See that? So there you go. Then I just let that ghee in there melt off, and while it's melting off, I'll get my eggs ready to pour in there. Oh, actually, before I pour my eggs in there, I'm going to pour some ham. All right, now that the ham is getting warmed up, I'm going to go ahead and make another little well here, and I'm going to go ahead and put my eggs in there. And this is the equivalent, what you're looking at here in the eggs is the equivalent of 4 eggs. And I know this is not a spatula, but I like cooking with this. I think it's pretty, you know, it's a lot easier and convenient to use than a spatula. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and stir this until the eggs get cooked pretty much, and then I'll start mixing everything around. All right, look at that. It's all done. Let me show you how I top this off. Now check this out, ladies and gentlemen. That looks really good. And this is probably enough for 2 average people, but it's enough for 1 big guy like me. Now the only thing that I do to this is I add a little bit of pepper. Doesn't really need salt. And I love me some Tabasco sauce. So I always add a little bit of Tabasco. And trust me, this doesn't need this. It stands on its own. But I just love this stuff. I eat Tabasco with almost every single breakfast item, you know, with the exception of pancakes or waffles or stuff like that. So let's see what it tastes like. And I was right. It doesn't need any salt. It's just perfect the way it is. All right. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wait until it gets a little bit light outside, and we're going to go ahead and head on over to Sportsman's warehouse so we can get a few tanks of butane. Now, let me show you how I am preserving my butane as well. So normally this is how we heat our water for coffee because it is just so convenient. This thing heats up the water really fast. But just like I'm doing with my house heater, right? I'm doing the same thing with my water for my coffee. Instead of using this, we convert it to using this. This right here heats up your water just as fast as the jet boil does. And instead of dipping into my butane cylinders to heat my water, I can continue to accumulate my butane cylinders and just use a little bit of electricity to heat up my water whenever you want. And this heats it up really, really quick. My wife saw this at Costco, and she originally got it to heat up the water that we use whenever we're making a bottle for Michael. And I was like, you know what? This is really fast. It works really fast. Why don't we just use this to heat our water for our coffee instead of using our butane, and we can stock up on the butane. So same logic behind why I rather use electricity now that it's readily available to keep our house warm and save up my diesel fuel. Well, not my diesel fuel, my heating oil, just in case there is a major shortage down the line and we actually lose electricity. So just using what we have now and putting away what we can get now to put away for later on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's nice and sunny out today. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful day? So now we're going to head into town. I think we're going to stop at Sportsman's warehouse first, take a stroll around, but I definitely need to get my 4 or 5 butane tanks that I normally get so I can keep stocking up. So let's go take a look and see what the roads are looking like. Well, this is what it's looking like this winter so far, ladies and gentlemen. And I forgot to tell you, today it is a nippy 3 degrees outside. So not terrible. The wind or the air is nice and dry, which is very nice. And as you can see, we still don't have a permanent sheet of ice on the roads. Normally halfway through winter or so, these roads are nothing but pure ice. That is why there is always a rush around October or so for people to get their tires switched over to winter tires. And even the all-weather tires, they work okay, but not nearly as good as the all-out winter tires work, like the Blizzaks. Those things work great. That's what I'm running on my truck right now. I used to have a set of studded tires, but the Blizzaks, they just work so much better. And let me tell you why it is that I'm purchasing the butane cylinders, even though I've switched over to heating my coffee water in the morning with electricity, is because I want to have enough of those butane cylinders where I can actually, or we, my family and I can actually use it to cook for a full year. So when I get enough of those cylinders where I can use them to cook for a full year, and then I would like to stock up about an additional half years to a full year supply so that I can have it for barter. I'm not sure if you know, but those butane cylinders, I know the jet boils are, and most butane cylinders, they're made in South Korea, I believe. So I would rather get them now, knowing that they're not really made here in the US. I haven't seen any that are made here in the United States. Let me know if there's a brand that's made here in the US. But I do believe that the Jetboil, the MSRs as well, and also that green canister, I forget their name. They're made in South Korea, I'm pretty sure. So I want to stock up on those, and I usually go in there and get 4 or 5, maybe every 2 to 3 weeks. It's been about a month since I've been there last, so I'll probably try to get as many as I can today. More likely 5 or so, depending on how many the shelves have. So we'll chime back in once we get there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're headed into Sportsman's Warehouse, and let's see what we can get ourselves into. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. They are fully stocked. That is great news. And they also have the cans of butane as well. I think I'm going to pick me up about 5 of those and 5 of these. And let's take a look and see, where are these made? As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the shelves are pretty well stocked all over the store, but the prices are a bit higher than what I remember them. I would say take advantage that the shelves are stocked right now, because I do believe that eventually they're not going to be as stocked as you see them now, and the prices are going to be higher as well. This Sportsman's Warehouse has everything. You can see that it has the butane canisters, it has cast iron pots, it has bear spray for self-defense from bears, or maybe even the 2-legged critters as well. And they're pretty well stocked on ammo, but look at the price, $10 for 50 rounds of 22 long rifle. And I'm actually looking for a small holster for my everyday carry, because the one that I have is wore out. And as you can see, I picked one up right there. Not very expensive, just 13 bucks, but I only needed to keep my sidearm protected against the trigger being pressed, so that one is going to do. But they've got a great selection of just about everything here. Again, the prices are pretty high, but that's to be expected. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we made it to Costco, so I'm actually here just to get one thing. My wife wanted some kind of a turmeric powder that they have on sale, but we're going to take a look around, take a look at the prices real quick. Nothing that's going to take a long time. And I think I'm going to pick me up some steak, so let's see what they've got. So I am definitely not going to be here long today because it is crowded. They were only down to like 3 shopping carts. Remember when these batteries were like $16 at regular price? Well, not anymore. I hope you stocked up. Costco has everything, ladies and gentlemen, but I really want to go and check out what the meats are looking like in the food. As you can see here, the chicken breast, skinless chicken breast, $3.49 a pound. You all remember when it was 99 cents a pound on sale? Not anymore. You can take a look at the price of the other meats that they have. Pretty much status quo. The prices haven't changed very much, maybe a little bit here or there. And the availability, I have to say, is not bad. $8.49 for New York strip, and that's if you buy it in bulk, which is not a bad price, I have to say. $11.39 for ribeye. I don't think I want to buy a big old slab of ribeye. Oh, I would love to buy this right here. This is a tenderloin. I think I'm just going to go ahead and pick myself up a pack of ribeye that's already cut and trimmed for you. To me, it's worth paying the extra $1.50, $1.70 to get it this way, and I don't have to buy a big old slab. I think we're going to go ahead and make some of these tonight for dinner. I didn't plan ahead, ladies and gentlemen, and I didn't take any out of the freezer, so we're going to have to go with this. Look at the eggs. This one up just a little bit, 2%. Well, not too many changes, ladies and gentlemen, in prices, but I do need to pick one of these up. We just broke one of these open the other day, and this is the apple cider vinegar with the mother in it. And here's the oil prices, pretty much the same as the last time I was here. This is the one that we use most of the time, and prices, I believe, is the same as it was the last time I came over. Well, it looks like the prices for rice went up again. The 25 pounder is 17 bucks for long grain. The 50 pounder is 32, but look at this. The Calrose rice, $48 now for 50 pounds. Now remember that when I first started to purchase this right here, when this Costco came here about 2.5–3 years ago, that Calrose rice was only about $25, $27. So it's almost twice as much as what it used to be a couple of years back. Now, when I'm looking at prices, when you look at the basics, that's where you can tell that prices are going up. These beans, still a pretty good deal for beans. 25 pounds for $23. It's not the $15 that it used to be, but it's still, you're still getting a pretty good amount of bang for your buck there. And you definitely can't go wrong getting a 25-pound bag of salt. And this salt, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, only because it's table salt, I believe that it doesn't have any iodine in it. Some people don't like to stockpile salt with iodine because over time the iodine maybe, you know, makes it taste a little different. I've never had any problems with it, but I believe this is iodine free. But go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And they are fully stocked on their potato flakes. $11.79 for a, let me see, a pack of 12 that brings 4 servings per. So that's not bad. That's 48 servings for $11.79. It's not as good as the potatoes they used to use, the ones that I used to love. I always forget their name, but you used to get a lot more for your money with those, and the price was almost half as much. And it looks like they've got some chili here on sale. Not bad. This chili's actually pretty good if you add some more beans to it. And for those of you that don't know, these refried beans are outstanding. I think I'm going to grab me one because we do need to fill in the gaps on these because we just used them the other day. And this is definitely not bad. You've got your corn and your green beans on sale. $9.29 and $9.39 for a case of 12. That's not a bad deal at all. Stock up now, ladies and gentlemen. You've got your green peas, $8.69, but that's only for 8 cans. This is definitely the time to stock up, especially when you find your sales. These egg noodles are really, really good. $9.29. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and leave it at that. I have to go to the eye doctor over here, whatever you call those guys, so that I can get my eyes checked and get some glasses because my eyesight, especially at nighttime, is becoming bad. So I'm going to go see if they're open so I can make an appointment. And then I'm going to just drive back home. Other than that, have a great day. Thank you very much for joining in today. God bless every one of you.